Imagine standing at the checkout with your child, counting every last coin only to be told you don't have enough. Now imagine what happens when a millionaire CEO is standing right behind you. This isn't just a story about money. It's about kindness, dignity, and the way one simple choice can turn a stranger's life upside down. A poor girl with her little daughter was humiliated at the store checkout. And just when things couldn't get worse, a man stepped forward. But not just any man, a millionaire. CEO. And what he did next left everyone frozen in shock. Stick around, because the twist in this story will make you question how you see generosity, pride, and human decency. The supermarket was buzzing as people rushed in and out. Carts filled with everything from fresh bread to frozen pizzas. For most shoppers, it was just another ordinary day. But for Emma, it wasn't. Emma was a young single mother, juggling 2 jobs and barely making enough to cover rent. Every dollar counted. She had learned to stretch her grocery budget. So thin that even buying something special for her daughter's birthday felt like climbing a mountain. But today, she promised her little girl, Lily, a small cupcake with a single candle on top. Nothing fancy, just a tiny moment of joy. Emma's cart was light, a gallon of milk, a bunch of bananas and that one cupcake. She knew exactly how much money. She had in her pocket coins. She had been saving for weeks. As she placed the items on the counter, she kept glancing at Lily, who was holding the cupcake carefully, as though it was the most precious treasure in the world. The cashier scanned the items and gave Emma the total. Her heart sank. It was a few dollars more than she had. She started counting her coins nervously, her hands trembling as the line behind her grew impatient. People sighed, some rolled their eyes. Lily just stared up at her mother with innocent hope, unaware of the storm brewing inside Emma's chest. "Ma'am," the cashier said flatly, "you don't have enough." The words cut like a knife. Emma's face flushed with embarrassment. She whispered, "Can you please remove the milk?" "Just the cupcake, then." The cashier shrugged and removed the milk. Still, Emma came up short. She bit her lip, feeling the weight of every stare behind her. Lily's little hands clutched the cupcake tighter, the candle wobbling slightly. And that's when a deep voice from behind spoke. "Add it all back. I'll cover it." Emma turned. Behind her stood a tall man in a tailored coat, scarf wrapped neatly around his neck, his eyes sharp but kind. He didn't look like someone who shopped for groceries himself. This was Daniel Carter, a well-known CEO in the city, a self-made millionaire, whose face had been in business magazines and online headlines. But in that moment, he wasn't a CEO. He was just a man watching a mother struggle. Emma froze. She wasn't used to help. She was used to rejection. She shook her head, quickly whispering, "No, I can't accept that. Please, thank you, but no." Her pride clashed with her reality. She wanted to show her daughter's strength, not dependence. But her daughter was staring at her with wide, confused eyes. "Mommy, can we take the cupcake?" Lily asked softly. The problem was no longer about money. It was about dignity. Emma didn't want to feel like a charity case. Not in front of her daughter, not in front of strangers. And yet, refusing meant going home empty-handed on her daughter's birthday. Daniel didn't back down. He didn't make a scene. He simply smiled and said, "It's not charity, it's a gift. Every child deserves a birthday treat, don't you think?" His words were calm, without pity. That made Emma pause. She looked at him carefully, searching for sarcasm or judgment. But all she saw was sincerity. Still, she hesitated. She thought about all the times people had looked at her as the poor girl, the single mom who couldn't keep it together. Accepting help always came with strings, whispers, or judgment. She wanted to protect Lily from that. But Daniel gently placed his card on the counter before she could protest again. "Please," he said, from one human to another. The cashier, sensing the tension, quickly processed the payment. The beep of the machine felt like a verdict being passed. The groceries were bagged. The cupcake, the bananas, the milk. Everything was hers to take home. Emma's eyes welled up. She muttered, "I don't know how to thank you." Daniel shook his head. "You don't need to. Just promise me you'll pass it on someday." That single sentence hit Emma like a thunderbolt. It wasn't about money. It was about a chain of kindness, something she could contribute to, even if in smaller ways. As they stepped aside, Lily tugged at her mother's sleeve. "Mommy, is he an angel?" she whispered loudly, her voice carrying through the line. Everyone chuckled softly, but Daniel's face softened. "No, sweetheart. I'm just someone who believes you and your mom deserve better." But the story didn't end there. As Emma packed up her groceries, Daniel asked if she had a few minutes. Nervously, she agreed. Outside, he told her something that left her stunned. "You remind me of my own mother. She raised me alone, worked 3 jobs, and there were days we didn't eat. People like her and like you deserve respect, not shame." Emma listened quietly, her heart racing. For the first time, she realized this wasn't a random act of pity. It was personal. Then Daniel pulled out a business card. "I run a foundation that helps single parents get back on their feet. If you're interested, we can help with job training, childcare, even education grants. No pressure, but the offer's real." Emma's hand shook as she took the card. She wasn't sure if she was dreaming. She had walked into that store with barely enough money for milk and bananas. And now she was walking out with more than groceries. She was walking out with hope. Lily looked up at Daniel and said, "Thank you, mister. Today's my best birthday." Daniel smiled, and for once, Emma allowed herself to smile too. That moment at the checkout changed more than Emma's day. It changed her future. In the weeks that followed, she reached out to Daniel's foundation. With support, she found stable work, affordable childcare, and even started night classes. She was no longer just surviving, she was building a life. And Daniel? He didn't brag about what happened. He never posted about it online, never used it for PR. For him, it wasn't about publicity, it was about humanity. People at the store that day still talk about what they saw, not because a millionaire paid for some groceries, but because he showed what true wealth looks like: empathy, respect, and the courage to step forward when someone is being pushed down. Emma's story became proof that even in a world obsessed with money and status, one simple act of kindness can ripple far beyond what we imagine. And Lily, she never forgot that cupcake. Not because it was sweet, but because it reminded her that even strangers can become heroes in the blink of an eye. If you thought that was powerful, wait until you see the next story. It's right there on your screen.